afternoon, students. Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to do chapter 5, that is past tense. As you can see here, I have already written the chapter name and name of the chapter. So if you have the textbooks, please open it so that you can understand it more clearly. So, in the previous chapter, chapter 4, we have already learned about present tense. There are three tenses, you know that already: past, present, and future tenses. So, in chapter 5, it talks about only past tense. So, we will learn about past tense and the types of past tense. So, past tense, it means an action or something that has already happened in the past, or action that has occurred. In the past, maybe yesterday, it may be day before yesterday, it may be 1 year back, or maybe thousands of years back. So that is called the past tense. So how do we know if a sentence is in the past tense or the future tense? Let's see the example here. Number 1, we played virtual football. You can see in your book, in your textbooks, you will find it is highlighted in red color, the verb play. But I have underlined here only the ed. Why? Because by looking at this word, the verb, we know that it is in the past form, because ed is added along with the main verb play. So this is in the past form. Second sentence too. The game was over, I won. Again, you will find two words, was and won. It is highlighted in red in your book. So, which is the verb? So, the verb is won. And what is was? Was is also a verb, but helping verb. The be form of verb, the past tense of the be verb. So, that is why these two sentences are in the past form. Now, we know only the past tense, but what are the types of past tense? There are 4 types. You can see here, it's already written. You have in your book, it is there from the first to the last page, but I have summarized it into 4 points so that you can understand it before we go deeper into the chapter. The first is simple past tense, number 1. Number 2 is past continuous tense. Number 3, past perfect tense. Number 4, past perfect continuous tense. So how do you need to remember these 4 types, because English 1 or this grammar lessons, you are going to continue till your continue 8, 9, 10 classes. So how do you remember? The first tense always comes in the simple form. Okay, and the second, continuous. Past will remain past because it is all about past, but the first is simple, so that way you remember, try to memorize it. And the second is continuous, past continuous tense, tense. Third is perfect. So simple, continuous, perfect. And the fourth is a combination of perfect plus continuous. So that way you remember. So every tense, whether it be present tense also has 4 types, past also has 4 types, and in the next chapter you will find chapter 6, future tense, that also has 4 types of future tense. So let me rub the board. So we will see number 1, first is simple past tense. We will see the examples how past tenses, simple past tenses are used, in which way it is used, and the formula of a simple past tense. So my suggestion is, if you have a textbook, you open it, and along with that you also open your text copy. so that you can write down the formulas that I give you. The formulas are not given in your textbook. It is only the examples are given. So the formulas I'll be writing it for you. So you please write it. Okay. So simple past tense, it is formed by adding ed. Okay. Most of the verbs in English ends in ed. Suppose in the first sentence we got played, ed, danced, ed. Okay. So etc. It goes on for the regular verbs. And there are also some irregular verbs like ending in not ending in ed, but suppose it, the present past form of it is ate, ate. Sing will become sang. So it's ending in g, ending in e. So all these verbs past from a verb which does not end in ed but ends in some other form, these are all irregular verbs. So let us see, for simple past tense, the structure is, if you have your book, in the first page, you will see the page, in page 46, under simple past tense, form or simple past tense. Form. Okay, form, it also means structure. So let us see what is the form or structure of a simple past tense. It is said here, positive statements. That is past tense of the verb. What does it mean? Positive statements also means, in another word, affirmative. So in positive statements, the form is subject plus verb, second form of the verb plus other objects. Why am I putting here verb to? Verb to means second form of the verb. Like just now we had play. Play is first form, and when you add ed, it becomes second form. That is the past form. I hope you got it. So let us see, we will take the same example. We played virtual football. We played virtual football. So this is the verb, subject, there is a subject, we is the subject. Second form of the verb is played, and these are the object. So, in the positive form or structure, the first comes subject, then comes the verb, then comes other objects or other parts of sentences. In the second, you will see it says negative sentences. Negative sentences. Negative sentences. Why is it called negative? Because you will see here it is given the structure subject plus did not plus base form of the verb. Base again it means the main verb. Okay, so base form of the verb, base verb. I write it in short. So we will take the same example again. We did not play virtual football. So it is a negative because the not is added. When there is a not in a sentence, always it is in the negative form. So the first, we played virtual football, it was in the positive form, and when we added did not, these two, when we added did not, it becomes negative form. So, and the verb becomes the first form, played. Okay? Okay. So next, interrogative, page 42. It is chapter 4. Okay, those who are joining late, it is chapter 5, page 42. So interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentences. How is it formed? It is given here in the book. Did plus subject. Did plus subject plus base form of the verb. Base form of the verb. What is did? Did is a question word. I'm not writing it since it's already given in the book. It is a question word. Then comes the subject. Subject can be anything like I, we, he, she. And the base verb, the main. When we have seen in the negative and interrogative sentences, when we form a sentence or when we ask a question, the verb always changes or turns into the first form. Let us see. Did we play, same sentence, did we play virtual football? So the same example, I have taken the same sentences and changed it into the three forms. Okay, and when it is changed, here this is the question word, this is the subject, and the verb becomes changes into the first form again. And the other parts of sentences are the objects. So these are the three: positive, negative, and interrogative sentences. Now let us see how can we use simple sentence in different ways. In page 42, here it is given uses of simple past tense. The simple past tense is used to express, number one, an action that took place at some point of time in the past. I will write the example. We saw the superstar at the market last Sunday. So, read the sentences. We saw the superstar at the market last Sunday. So, this is in the simple past. What is the verb here? Or what is the first form of the verb? Can anyone tell me? First form of the verb saw. What will be the first form? Those who can, you can tell me what is the first form of the verb saw. No one? See. Okay. So whoever got it, very good, it's right, correct? So saw is the first, second form of the verb see. So we saw the superstar at the market last Sunday. When did we see the superstar? At the market when? The time is last Sunday. So here a time expression is given. It may be last week. It may be yesterday. So the time expression, when it mentions, gives a specific time expression. Okay, this is in the simple past form. Let us see second example, second uses. An action that took place over a period of time in the past. In this second use, Dickens wrote his novels during the Victorian age. So Dickens is a person, an English writer. Here we have, so from the word itself, we know this is a irregular verb. It is not ending in ed, but ending in e. So the past form of the verb write. So Dickens wrote his novels during the Victorian age. So in the first example we found, we saw the superstar at the market last Sunday. The time expression is given the exact time, or when did we see last Sunday. So we know which Sunday. So but in the second use, Dickens wrote his novel during the Victorian age. What age? What time was it mentioned? A specific time is not mentioned, but age talks about the land. Victoria is a queen, so Victorian age. The age refers to the length of time a person or a thing has existed. So Dickens was also living at the time when Victoria was alive. So Dickens wrote his novels, his books during the time when Victoria, the Queen, was still alive. Third use is a past habit. A past habit. What is a habit? We know past. We know the meaning of past already. So what is a habit? Something that you do every day. Okay, you brush your teeth every day. You eat food every day. That is our necessity. Okay, so you read books or you play football games. That is your regular thing that you do. So that is a habit. So words like always, never, often, sometimes, etc. Okay? So these words are used whenever you want to talk about something that you always do or regularly or repeat it again and again. So let us see one example from the book. My grandmother always told me stories about the Boribus and Bandhavas. Okay, so who used to tell the story? My grandmother. Your grandmother. So this is a habit. So your grandmother may have told you the story about Kauravas and Pandavas not once, maybe twice, thrice, or many times. So always is used here a habit, okay, which is repeated many times. That is a habit or a past habit where it is given in your book. So next we come. Okay, so we have finished with the number one, simple past tense. What is the second point? Second type of past tense. If you still remember, I have given you that points, number 1, 2, 3, 4 points, the types, 4 types of tenses. Can anybody tell me what is the second type of past tense after simple past tense? Those who are smart enough may have already written it in your copies. Let me. Past continuous, that is right. Okay. Past continuous tense. Past, this is all happening in the past, these actions, but now we come to the continuous. What is continuous? What is continuing? What kind of activity is all continuous? Go to page 44. There you will find about past continuous tense. Okay. So past continuous tense talks about an action that was going on for some time. Okay? The simple past tense is like the action started and it was completed. That means it was over, it was finished. But in the past continuous tense, continuous, an action that was going on for some time, maybe 1 day, maybe 2 days, a certain period of time. So let us see the examples. Yesterday, all of us were watching the cricket match Okay. Okay. So before we observe or study the example, for the past continuous tense, the sentence structure will be this. Okay, I write the subject in the short form S. Subject plus was or were, helping verb was or were, plus verb along with ing. Okay. So, in order for you not to forget, you can write it maybe at the side of your book where there is space. You can write this formula: subject plus was or were plus V means verb along with ing. Why ing? Anything, any word or the verb which ends in ing, that is in the continuous form. Okay. Okay, let us see the example. Yesterday, all of us were watching the cricket match between India and Sri Lanka. So here we have where the helping verb form of be, and you can see here the verb watch plus ing, so it becomes watching. Okay, so you do not need to remember all the uses. What is most important is, if you want to remember what is simple past tense, just remember the verb form. And for the continuous, you remember the formula was or were plus the verb along with ing. Now let us see some uses of past continuous tense. Number one, you can see here the heading is there are uses of past continuous tense. The past continuous tense is used when we talk about two actions that went on at the same point of time in the past. Two actions. Okay, let us see what kind of actions. I was playing while you were sleeping. I was playing while you were sleeping. So these are two actions happening at the same time. Okay? It is also given very clearly in your book. It is highlighted in red. Was playing, helping verb along with play plus ing. This is one action. I was sleeping. Okay? I am the one. I am sleeping while you were sleeping. I was playing while you were sleeping. So this is the second action. So these two actions are happening at the same time. Okay. Next. Number two. We talk about an action that was repeated frequently in the past. Repeated frequently, okay? Repeated frequently, that means similar like the simple past tense where it is talked about a past habit. So repeated frequently also means again a habit. Okay? We will see example now. While I was a child, I was always watching animated films. So we have here was always. So if you still remember in the first page, you will find words like always, never, often. These are habit words used for habits. So when I was a child, I was always. That means you always watch, maybe every day, maybe 2-3 times in a week. So here again, we find the continuous watch along with ing form. Okay, so now I think you have got something about what is past continuous. Let us go to page 46. Page 46. Okay. So now we come to the number 3 types of tenses. Can anyone tell me what is the third type of tense? You can see from your book itself in page 46, what tense is there? Okay, past perfect tense. Perfect. Now we have finished with the simple, we have finished with continuous. Now we come to the perfect. Those who still remember, in the previous class I have talked about, I have explained to you what is continuous, what is perfect. Perfect, it means something which is already done, which is already completely finished, or the work is completely done. So that is the meaning of perfect. So perfect tenses are that actions which talks about something that happened before another action in the past. You have in your book here, the past perfect tense shows an action completed at some point of time in the past before another action began. Here, it talks again about two actions, but one action happened before another action started. Okay, let us see through the examples. Examples will make it more clear. The past and left. Before we reach the step. Okay, so the highlighted words are had. Okay, before we continue again, the formula for past perfect tense is again subject. I write it in S. Subject plus had plus past form of the verb again. Okay, we have had. So you can also say past participle or the past form of verb. So in the past perfect tense or perfect, we always have had. This should not be excluded. Okay? This should always be included when you want to form a sentence, a past perfect tense sentence. So what was the definition of past perfect tense? One action happened before another action started. So the bus had left. Had left. Second, before we reach the station, before we reach the stand or station, so this action happened first. The bus had already left. Okay? So before we reach, we have not yet reached, but before we reach the station, the bus had already left. Okay? So how do we know that these two between these two sentences, which comes first? The part of the sentence which has the past perfect, that means had, it always comes first. That is always the first action. Okay? Now I'll give you a sentence, try to identify which is the past perfect tense, which action comes first, okay? We will see only one sentence for now. So I had entered the room when the phone rang. So can you identify which action comes first? Okay, I had entered the room, right? So okay, whoever said it, very good, this is right. This is the action which comes first. It is easy to identify. When you remember the formula, you don't have to wait for so long to identify the sentence. So the past perfect, had plus the verb, third form of the verb, had entered. This is the first action when the phone rang. Okay? Before even the phone rang, I had already entered. That means I was already in the room. And the phone started ringing only after that. Okay? So, now let us see the number 4. First, what is number 4? The number 4 point, the 4 types of tenses. It will be past perfect. Complete the rest. Past perfect. Okay. Continuous tense. So again we have here, perfect is still there. Combination of perfect plus continuous. Okay. Now, so the formula for this is, the formula, write it down, do not forget to write it down. The formula for this will be, I write subject as S, subject plus head plus be plus verb, again along with I and G. So, subject comes first. Head is still there because there is perfect. Be, why be? Because it is continuous. Whenever you want to make a sentence with perfect plus continuous, you have to add had been. Okay, if you do not add had and been, then it is an incorrect sentence. So subject plus had plus be plus verb plus ing. Again, eat, eating, dance, dancing. Okay. Now let us see from the example. Okay, let us read past perfect continuous tense. The past perfect continuous tense is used to express an action that began in the past, okay? Began in the past, went on for some time, and then was over in the past. Okay, so past perfect continuous tense, it started. It is all about the past. We are talking all about past. Began in the past or started in the past. It went on for some time. Why was it going on? Why was it progressing for some time? It was continuous. Okay, ing. Then it got over. Was over in the past. So that is why it is past perfect continuous tense. Let us see the examples now. Before coming to this school, I have been teaching in Panchmani for 11 years. So the highlighted words here are I have been teaching. So can you see the formula that I gave you? Subject plus had plus been, subject plus had plus been, then the continuous form of the verb. So the explanation is also given in the book. So please look at your books. In this sentence, the action of teaching in Panchgani began. So which came first? Action of teaching. Teaching where in Panchgani? For how many years? For 11 years. The action of teaching in Panchgani began more than 11 years ago. It went on for 11 years and was completed when I came to this school. So, before coming to this school, before I even joined the school, where was I teaching? In the past, I was teaching in Panchgani for what duration of years? For 11 years. Then, when did the action end? Okay, the action started and it ended when I came to this school. Okay, so this is meant by past perfect continuous tense. Okay, and another thing, so we have done all the 4 types. Now, there is another, say in page 44, okay? Page 44, you have there the heading, simple past tense or past continuous. Simple past So this is another very important thing to remember. These 2 tenses can be used in one sentence. How? Let us see the example. The hairdresser was cutting my hair So the highlighted words here are went and was cutting. So can you tell me simple past and past tense in this sentence, which underlined words are the past continuous and which is the simple past tense from these underlined words between these 2? Which is which? Okay, so was cutting. Okay, so this is the past continuous. You got it right. And the went, this one is the simple past tense. So how is it used? When the hairdresser was cutting my hair. hairdresser has not finished cutting my hair. The process was still continuing. Why? Because ing, past continuous form of the verb. And what happened? When the hairdresser was cutting my hair, another action was interrupted. Okay? The fire alarm went off. Okay, the fire alarm went off. So simple past tense, past continuous tense is a longer action. Okay, and suddenly a shorter action or event interrupted by simple past tense. Okay, so this simple past tense, it completes the action. Okay, so this is the difference how these two tenses can be used in a sentence. Okay, so okay, and the last topic here you will find in the page 45. Page 45. This is just to show a comparison between simple past tense and past perfect. Simple past or present perfect. Okay, present perfect, simple past. So present perfect, this is not a part of past tense. This is not one of the types of past tense. It is one of the type of present tense. But it is just to show a comparison between these two. We will see the examples. I gave the book to the teacher. So, I gave the book to the teacher. The first sentence is simple past, but when you add have is the present form of the verb, helping verb given. The third form, the book to the teacher. So when it is here, the explanation is given. Both these sentences talk about actions that went on in the past. Actions in the past, okay? Yet, the first sentence is in the simple past tense, while the second sentence is in the present perfect tense. Okay, so that is the difference. But it is all about talking about the past action. Okay. Okay, so the exercises, you go once again through all the explanations and the formula that I have given you, and try to solve the exercises, the fill in the blanks, and later on we will see, okay, what to do with the answers. Okay, the solved answers. Okay, that is solved. Okay. Went. Example. Previous.
These are simple past.
Went. Simple past went is a simple past tense because it is an irregular verb. As I have already said, regular, there are two kinds of verbs. Regular plus irregular. Okay? Irregular verbs all end in ed, like the past form, and the irregular verbs as I given you 8. So what will be the first form of went? Can you tell me? Since you asked me how is went the past form of the simple past, right? Simple past. So what will be the first form of present form of the verb went? Can you tell me? How will you say in the present form? Go. So it's simple. This is the present form, this is the past form. So Verb sometimes it has two forms. Okay, sometimes some of the words in English there are three forms of the verb, but sometimes some verbs in English has only two forms. You cannot say go, wenting. You cannot say wenting. Okay, so that is why this is the simple past in the irregular form of the verb. I hope you got it. Okay, so thank you, that's all.